Hey guys, it's Johnny FD and Happy New Year, Happy 2020. I'm really excited to get this year started, and I think a lot of you are excited to start planning for your new year as well. But before we do that, let's review 2019. And why should we do that? It's because a huge mistake a lot of us make every single year is we get excited for the next year, but we never actually take the time to reflect to see if our plans even worked for the last year. So how do you know we're not making the same mistakes? Or how do you know if we actually even learned any lessons from the year before? January 1st, 2020 does not mean we magically get a new slate, that everything becomes easy and different, but it really is a launch pad for a great new year if we learn from the mistakes that we made in the past. And also, just for fun, it is really nice to go back and see what we did, where we traveled to, and what we learned, as well as the lessons that we learned from each month. So I'm gonna break it down month by month, and I encourage you to do the same. Follow along. So one of my goals and one of my plans last year in 2019 was to actually travel less and spend more time in each country. I also didn't want to just keep chasing numbers. There's a lot of people who really want to travel to 50 countries or really want to go to 75 countries or 100 countries because it somehow sounds cool and becomes this magical bucket list. You know, it means you're a well-traveled person or whatever that is. But for me, I never really cared. I think in the beginning it was exciting when I was first starting, but when I got around 50, I was like, you know what? I'd rather go back to some of these 50 places that I really liked and spend more time there and actually get to know those places more than just to go somewhere else, just to check it off, just to say I've been there. So one of my goals for 2019, and something I did, was I went back to a lot of places that I've been before, either to see old friends, just to hang out again and really get to know the place again. So I'm gonna break it down month by month. And in 2019 January, I was here in Chiang Mai, Thailand, which ironically I'm back at now. So I did a full loop around the globe, as you'll see. But every year I love to come here around this time for the Nomad Summit, because it's a huge conference that brings in 400 digital nomads from around the world, and it's a ton of fun. If you haven't been to one, it's a great way to network and meet other digital nomads, and it's a good excuse to come back to Chiang Mai during one of the best months of the year, which is November, December, January, up until about February. And after the conference, I really wanted to show the attendees one of my favorite islands, Koh Lanta, because that's a great place to go for burning season between kind of mid or end of February and definitely all of March. Has a good co-working space and has just, it's a nice island. And it's fun when you're in a group because, you know, it is kind of a smaller island. So unless you're traveling with people or you're traveling as a couple, it does get a little bit boring. So I went there with, you know, a big crew of people. I think maybe about 40 people. We basically took over a plane and went down there, and it was a ton of fun. But this year I'm not gonna do that again because honestly it was really tiring. The Nomad Summit is a tiring conference to put together. It's 4 days. There's a lot of planning before and afterwards. The last thing I want to do is get on a plane and then, you know, have to be surrounded by people again 24/7. I've learned I'm more of an introvert than I actually originally thought. I always thought I was just pure extrovert because I do love being around people and I actually get a lot of energy when I'm around the right people. But if I'm around just too many people, or if I have to have a role of always, like people always kind of waiting for me to plan everything or do everything, it is tiring. And if I'm ever around any negative people, luckily the Nomad Summit doesn't attract it, but you know, in general, you know, there are negative people out there. They suck the life out of me and I have to just be by myself for a bit and I have to just recharge. So this year, I'm actually gonna stay another week or two here in Chiang Mai after, just to relax and chill out. And then February, I'm gonna go to Sri Lanka. That's somewhere I actually went last year as well. Actually, last year I first went to Kuala Lumpur as a stopover to Sri Lanka, mainly because I was dating a girl, this German girl who was amazing. I met her in Chiang Mai, and she was traveling. And it was very different because I'm, you know, staying places longer. She's trying to see as much as she can because this is her first trip out of Germany, and she has a limited amount of time. So we already knew that probably wasn't gonna work, but you know, we had such a good time together, we thought, why not? Let's just give it a shot. So we decided to meet in Kuala Lumpur, which was kind of halfway between our travels. She wanted to go to Vietnam, I wanted to go to Sri Lanka, and there was a direct flight from KL in both places. So we rented a nice Airbnb with a nice rooftop pool, the nice view of the Petronas Towers, and we decided, let's just hang out together for a week, eat some good food, explore the city, see what that's like. And KL, it's not that nice. It's great on paper, internet speeds are good, transportation's good, lots of good apartments, you know, has everything. But once you get there, you realize it's not that exciting. There's not that much to do. The advertised internet speeds are not very stable, so they're fast on paper, but they're not very good. And the nice apartments, yeah, I guess they're pretty nice, but they're kind of, I don't know, they're kind of soulless because it's just boring skyscrapers. Something about KL I just don't really like. I don't really recommend anyone visit there or spend that much time there, but you know, it is there as an option. It exists. Even the night market food is pretty good, but there's better night market food in Taiwan and Singapore, in Penang instead of, you know, KL, or even here in Chiang Mai. So this year, instead of going to KL first, I'm actually going to go straight to Sri Lanka to spend an extra month there. Last year I spent 1 month and it was fine. I enjoyed it a lot, but I really want to settle down, slow down my travels. So my plan for 2020 is to go in February. I'm flying out February 5th. And I'm gonna stay for 2 full months in Sri Lanka. The plan is to stay on this little beach town called Weligama and really learn how to surf, hopefully get good at it. So last year I spent the month of March in Sri Lanka. It was my first time. So yeah, I explored a new country, even though I wasn't really trying to. It kind of just happened to be along the way. And the problem is there's that cold season, you know, in March, April, or in February, March, April, where I don't really want to be in Chiang Mai because birding season normally starts mid or end of February and all of March. And I like the Thai islands, but I've been to all of them a lot. And there was not really anywhere I really wanted to go. I didn't really want to go to Vietnam. I didn't really want to go to like Cambodia or anything because I've been to most of those places already. And I just really wanted to surf, but I don't want to be in Bali because I really hate Bali, you know, and there's probably half of us logical people that really hate Bali. The other half really like getting Instagram likes and waking up in, you know, this Instagram village of Bali that they really love, but I really don't like it. So I wanted to avoid it. So I was like, well, Sri Lanka is kind of like Bali. It has all the benefits, great beach, you know, and it's way cheaper and under touristed. So it's like Bali 30 years ago. So I think it's a big hidden gem, but really, really cool place, great surfing, really convenient, really nice people, good food. So I'm gonna go back for 2 months this year and I'm excited for it. Then in April, we decided to go on the Nomad cruise, which starts from Gran Canaria, which is one of the Canary Islands in Spain. And I've spent about 2 months there last year. So I've been there before, I really liked it. We actually even started a Nomad coffee club there, which is a weekly Friday meetup. And I'm happy I went because I got to hang out with my buddy David Vu. And also, I like the island a lot. However, I realize it's far to get to. It's a good place if you want to go and stay for a few months. But it was a lot of additional travel just to kind of go that route. And then the Nomad cruise itself is a ton of fun. It's great to meet people, drink, party, travel together and have fun. But definitely during those 2 weeks, you're not working, you're not chilling, you're kind of just go, go, go. And then afterwards too, for 2 weeks, you're hanging out with the new friends. So it's a ton of fun and I recommend the Nomad cruise for anyone who wants that. And if you see my laptop stickers, I've been to a few of them and I really enjoy them. So I do recommend them. But it is a cruise ship with unlimited free alcohol, and it is a lot of people who want to drink and party and hang out. So this year my priority is to just chill out and not do that. And also because I don't want to take the extra flight just to take a boat back, because my priorities this year are very different. I just want to chill in one place. I'm being in a routine. I know it sounds a bit boring, but that's what I need after so many years of travel. If you're just starting and you have the freedom and the flexibility of doing it, go for it. The one country that I did get to check off as part of the Nomad cruise that I've never been to was Morocco. It doesn't really count because we were just in Casablanca, which isn't even really the main city, even though it's a famous one from the old movie. So I really don't feel like I've seen the country, but now that I've checked it off, I really have no reason to ever go back. And that's another downside of checking off countries just to check it off. You're just like, I don't really need to go back. I'll probably never go back, but now I can say I've been there. So we ended the cruise in Lisbon, Portugal, which is a place I've been to twice now, and I really, really like it. I highly recommend it if you're visiting Europe. Someone asked me last night, what's your favorite overall country in Europe? And I would say it's probably Portugal, especially Lisbon. Great, nice beaches close by, nice city, low cost of living, decent weather, friendly people, good food, and good nomad community. It's really, really great. But for me, it's never been a place I really wanted to live. I could live there. I'd be happy to live there, but it's not that exciting to me. It doesn't enchant me. I don't know what it is about it. I don't have that kinship with it. So like in Chiang Mai in Thailand, instantly I felt connection with Thai people, with the culture. I'd feel emotion for them. Like I felt, I would feel bad, and I would feel joy, and I would feel love, and I feel, and Portugal, I'm just like, I have no connection at all. But ironically, I also feel even connection with like Ukraine. When I was there and I was watching the documentaries about their Maidan revolution, just all the things they've been through, and just getting to know people and talking to them, even though I'm not Ukrainian, I felt this connection, this kinship, where I like literally would have emotions, towards the people and their culture and their history. So that's something, that is really resonating with me. And that's why I went back to Ukraine for a second time, and I spent 2 months in Kharkiv, which is the second or third biggest city. And on paper, it's great, even though literally nobody had been there. I searched the whole internet for blogs and YouTube videos, and I found like 2 of each that were all outdated. So I went. If you want to know more about any of these cities, I write blog posts and make YouTube videos about all of them. So dive in deep, because I'm your guinea pig. I'm your travel guinea pig. Spend my own money and time seeing if they're good. And Kharkiv, I liked it. I got to a good routine. I made a couple good friends. I started to learn Russian, which is the primary language there, which is also something that I feel like would be very helpful to travel the rest of the former USSR. But then my buddy Sam, who wanted to meet up in Lithuania, convinced me to go out there. And I said, okay, why not? It's a cheap, short flight. And we hung out there for a week. And it was fun, but my regret was letting him make the plans and not just double checking it. I landed in the airport in Vilnius, and then he immediately wanted to take a bus to Kaunas, which was like a city like a few hours away. We spent one night there, and then we came all the way back to Vilnius just to go all the way like halfway back again to Lake Trakai, and it was just terrible planning. So lesson learned is you can love your friends, want to travel with them, but double check their plans, look on the map, make sure it actually makes sense, because it was just a stressful waste of time. And I should have known this, because last year we did something similar in Spain, where we just drove like every other day, or every day actually, and we drove the whole coast of Spain from Valencia near Barcelona all the way to Portugal. And it was a good trip, but it was just way too fast as well, and it was stressful. So for me, I want to travel, I want to see things, but my goal is to have it be very low stress or stress-free. And I think that should be something that all of us can strive for as well. So after Lithuania, I went back to Ukraine, and this time I spent a month in Kiev, which is the capital, somewhere that I really didn't want to like, because it's definitely the most expensive. Apartments there are almost twice the price of other cities like Lviv or Kharkiv, where I was just at. And it's harder to get around, it's busier, but I ended up loving it. I had such a good time, because it's a really big city, almost like New York. And there's tons of people, tons of things to do, and the airport's better because you can fly everywhere. So this year I'm actually gonna go straight to Kiev and skip the other smaller cities and just go for the biggest, best one, even though it costs the most amount of money. So I know that I had said I didn't want to just keep checking off countries just to check it off, but so far I checked off Morocco as part of the Nomad cruise, and I had checked off Lithuania as part of the side trip with Sam. And then I decided to go to Georgia, mainly because my visa in Ukraine was up, and it was just right next door. I kept hearing good things about it. I was having a lot of Georgian food in Ukraine. It was really, really good. And I heard it was an up and coming Nomad hub. So I thought, you know what, let me just go check it out, but I'm gonna spend a good 2 months there to take my time. So at least that was on plan, on goal. So this kind of reminds us, you know, even though things kind of change, we can't be super, you know, set in our ways. As long as we have an overall plan of what makes us happy, what we want to accomplish for the year, it's okay to, you know, break some rules as long as we're following the bigger end goal. So I had a great time in Georgia. It's a nice country, and I can see myself home basing there. I really think it's going to be the next digital nomad hotspot because it has 1-year visas for Americans. You just show up, you get 1 full year, as well as most other countries, Canadians, you know, all Europeans, basically most of the world. I wrote a super in-depth blog post about Tbilisi and about Georgia itself. You can check that out if you're interested in going and watch the other videos. But overall, it has a lot of potential, and I think we might have a Nomad Summit there this summer. And mainly because after I wrote that blog post, made those videos, I had a ton of people who were interested in going, and people want kind of an excuse to go together. And the Nomad Summit normally brings a few hundred people. So really it's a good community, and then we can all go together, spend another month or 2 after, and hang out. So after Georgia, I actually went to Prague in Czech Republic to speak at the Dropship Lifestyle Retreat. Anton has an annual conference for all the members of his dropshipping course, Dropship Lifestyle. It's a great way to meet who's in the course, who's doing well, and meet people in person, because 99% of the people in his course don't have a blog, don't have a YouTube channel, or just normal people. They're a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dad, and they just like working from home. Most of them actually live in the US. A lot of people live in Australia or like in, you know, somewhere in Europe, and they're not really digital nomads. They're just running a business online from home and they can travel, they can do stuff, and some of them are making a lot of money. And what's nice is every year I hear less and less people in like Chiang Mai doing dropshipping, because it's not like the trendy hot topic. And I feel like here people are always chasing like whatever's new, whatever's hot, instead of just doing what actually works. And what's cool about going to the retreat is I meet, you know, 12 people or, you know, 30 people who have successful stores that, you know, don't do anything trendy or fancy. They just follow the system. They just follow Anton's method, and it just works. And it's nice to see that. And, you know, it allows me to wholeheartedly be able to recommend his course to other people, because that's what I took when I first got started. And I'm glad to hear that it's still working every year. So this year, he's having it in Lisbon, and I'm thinking, oh, I should really go to it. You know, it's fun to catch up with him, but also, you know, all the members, as well as see the new members. But I just don't want to travel so much anymore. So I'm still undecided if I'm going to be going or not. But if I do, love to see you guys there. The retreat is for members only, but you can sign up at antonmethod.com if you want to join the course. I do recommend it, and it's literally what helped me get started and be able to travel as much as I do now. It is the first online business I ever started that actually made US money, like, you know, replaced my US salary, and I started making $2,000 to $7,000 a month in profit, and that's allowed me to not only make money and travel, but also to save up enough money to invest, and then when I sold the store, to be able to invest all that and live off of passive income. So really, it's been a life changer for me. That's why I recommend Anton's course so much, and that's why I like going to this conference. And I'm torn because the only reason why I'm even thinking about not going is because I just don't want to travel so much anymore. I just want to stay in like one country for longer and not go back and forth. But we'll see what happens. So speaking of new countries, I had been to Mexico before, but as non-Americans, I've only been to like Tijuana and Rosarito, kind of the border towns that we can just drive to from San Diego. This is my first time in like real Mexico. Like, you know, flew to Cancun. We had the Nomad Summit Cancun there, which was a ton of fun. It was a blast, and people loved it, you know, because it was easy to get to from all of the US, from Canada, and even from Western Europe, surprisingly. There's direct flights from like Spain and Germany and a few other places. And it was relatively cheap to be there, you know, and it was just a lot of fun. Good Mexican food, you know, cheap drinks, and everyone wants to have it there again. I don't know if I want to go all the way to Mexico again, so that's undecided. But last October, I spent a month in Cancun and then Playa del Carmen after, which is right next door. It's like less than an hour bus ride, and it's a new digital nomad hotspot. They have a beach. They have, you know, lower cost of living than the U.S., maybe half the price of the U.S., but you're still spending, you know, $500-600 a month on rent. But you know, you're pretty close to the beach. The food is cheap, drinks are cheap. You know, good weather, lots of fun things to do. Great scuba diving. The cenotes to jump off of or to scuba dive in. There's, you know, amazing beaches next door in like Isla Mujeres, where we all went as a group, as well as Cozumel, another island we went to go diving. It was a lot of fun. And the crazy part is when, you know, I had heard a lot from a lot of friends that they've lived there and they've liked it, and that they said it was relatively safe, wasn't a big deal. But then in the news, all you hear is how dangerous Mexico is and not to go there. And even when I decided to have the conference, I had random people message me, read this news headline, you know, SUVs are getting bombed. And I was like, you know what? Let me do my due diligence. I'm gonna talk to people who actually live there and see how dangerous it really is. And turns out it's not the safest place in the world, but as long as you're not involved in the drug buying or selling or trade, like there's the likely of you getting killed there is pretty much the same as any other big city, including like LA or New York, and it's way safer than a lot of ones like Chicago. So like basically statistically, I looked at it and I was like, all right, if we were willing to be in a car on a freeway, or if we were willing to ride a scooter around Bali or Thailand, then we should be willing to go to a place like Mexico, because the chances of us dying are way higher just getting to the airport in the safest city in the world than getting killed there. And I'm glad we went, because it was relatively safe. I mean, you just have to, like, you know, watch your bag at Starbucks or, you know, somewhere, and unfortunately things do happen, but overall it's pretty safe, and we all had a good time, and the locals were really appreciative that we were there, because we went kind of during their low season, but we still had good weather, and it's just a great country to be in. So I really feel like so many Americans and Canadians are missing out. Like, if you are American or Canadian and you can't make it to Thailand right now for, you know, for whatever reason, because you need to be in the same time zone or it's just too far, just go to Mexico. Stop staying in the cold. Go to Mexico for a month and you're gonna love it. So lesson learned is don't listen to mainstream media, don't listen to the fear mongers, do your own research, because if we live our life in fear all the time, we never do anything. So because I was already in Mexico, I wanted to see the rest of it. And you know, I heard of cool places like in Oaxaca or like the food in Mexico City. But I decided, I was like, you know what, I really want to stay in Playa del Carmen for a good, you know, another month and a half, just to get into routine, just to work, and just to kind of enjoy what's around there. But I did agree to go on this scuba diving trip, which ironically was on the very far side of Mexico, in a place called Socorro Island that you can reach by boat from Los Cabos, like Cabo San Lucas. And it took 20-something hours, 29 hours to get from the closest land to the dive site. So it was a crazy dive. I don't know if you watched any of the videos. I put up 3 videos of my dives there. One was with manta rays, one was with a ton of sharks, and one was with dolphins. And it was the first time me scuba diving with dolphins. It was amazing. It was such a cool dive, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I don't regret going there at all, but it was a long journey, and it was tiring to go there. But I did get to check out Los Cabos. I got to do a little surfing in San Jose del Cabo. Got to hang out with my buddy BK in Cabo San Lucas and see what that place is like. Overall, Cabo is kind of like a nice place for Americans who want to kind of stay almost in the U.S. It feels like the U.S. It feels like a beach town in Miami or in Florida or like in California. And it's pretty expensive, way more expensive than the Playa del Carmen side. Then on my way back from Mexico, stopped by LA again to see my cousin. I had spent a few weeks with my parents before Mexico in San Francisco, and I got to do a lot of cool stuff. And it was nice being there, but I also realized I don't want to live in the U.S. Like, I went to my cousin's holiday party, and I looked around and I was like, all right, well, this would be similar to my life if I lived here, you know? And it was fun. It was like a casino royale night. he was hanging out with all his coworkers, and I realized, I don't want to have coworkers. I don't want to have like company parties. I don't want this to be the one thing I look forward to. I don't want to have a job I have to go into. So I'm really, really fortunate and blessed that I can work from literally anywhere. Sitting kind of near a cafe here in Chiang Mai, outdoors, and I'm really, really fortunate. And being able to earn money online, have a business, and to be able to travel with it is a blessing that only is possible this generation. So our parents' generation, it was really hard to do. Our grandparents' generation, it was literally impossible. They didn't have laptops. And the fact that I'm using a 2013 MacBook Air, and it's 2020 now, it's a 7-year-old laptop, and I've now made, I don't know, more than $500,000, maybe even, I don't know, off of this laptop. It's insane. And I have all these streams of passive income that come in still. If you watch my other video on my YouTube channel, it's called my 18 streams of passive income or online income. I'm really, really fortunate. So it's nice to go back once in a while to see friends and hang out and eat good food, but I also realize cost of living there is so high that you have to just keep working. Then you have taxes that are so high, so you have to work for that too. While here, I'm back in Chiang Mai. I'm spending $250 a month on my apartment. My office is either free right here or, a $2 coffee at the coffee shop. I have a great gym. I have, great friends. We have a ton of people coming for the Nomad Summit conference. It's just it's a remarkable life. I'm gonna kind of go in deeper on my December plans and what I did, how much I spent, in my next video. It's going to be the December 2019 kind of travel update, travel goals, update of the year, because there's a lot to go through, but it was fun. So there you have it, 2019, all 12 months, everywhere I've been, everything I did, kind of the things I learned. The plans for 2020 is actually to repeat that exact itinerary and just kind of cut a couple things out, spend a little bit less time on planes and traveling and more time in each place. And I'm really gonna go back to places I've already been. So I don't think I'm going to any new countries this year at all, which sounds like a weird goal, but it is a goal to not just, spread myself too thin, just go places to go places. So Chiang Mai, 2 months, Sri Lanka, 2 months, Ukraine, 2 months, Georgia, 2 months, and then we'll see from there. That's already a lot of planning. But read my blog post, my 2019 wrap up and 2020 plans. It goes into a lot more info on everything I just talked about. You can see the videos. You can watch each of the videos that I made from each place, in order. You can see the lessons learned, and you can leave a comment either here on the YouTube channel or on the blog. I would love to hear from you. Tell me what your goals are, what you did in 2019, maybe what you learned from this video, this article, and if you have any questions, I'm really, really happy to help. If you like more videos like this, or if you want to see my monthly updates, subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell so you actually know when a video comes up, and even if you don't scuba dive, watch some of those videos because they're really, really cool. Like, this is something that is not going to exist in the next generation. I mean, unfortunately, knock on wood, but a lot of the really, really pure fish life, the uncharted dive sites, they're gonna be gone. The world is getting overfished, the environment's changing. So these are things that we might only be able to show our grandkids in a video like this. And this is why I like capturing and seeing it and sharing it, because the world is changing. So enjoy it now. Do what we can to save it, but let's enjoy it now as well. See you guys in the next video, somewhere in the world, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.